Good morning and welcome to Elisa Marie Designs Self-Care Sunday. It's about 6 a.m. I just came up from downstairs. Here's the foof right behind me. And I have my dose that I'm getting ready to put down and take a look at my artwork. Can't wait to get started back on that. I have my pens and paper for some artwork later. I will be working on using the Book of Awakening today. My pens from Five Below, fountain pens, and all these pretty pastel colors, because while I am reading, I like to maybe underline a phrase, not highlight. I like to use a pen. This book has been with me for 10 years, so there's so many notes where sometimes it's just a word that jumps off the page for me. And so sometimes when I underline words, I make a whole new sentence. Welcome to Self-Care Sunday. I'm Elisa Maria. Welcome to Elisa Maria Designs. It is Sunday, May 18th. Trying to get my desk in front of me. I hope you enjoyed those little clips that I shared with you. I just wanted to show you what goes on in the morning. I don't leave a drop. I love it. I'm feeling so good. I told you guys there have been a few incidences that, really honestly, the flash flooding that went on an hour before, well, not really an hour. I was still dealing with it an hour before we were getting ready for our live. And thank you to everyone that showed up for the live. This is why I think that this reading today is perfect. Our lives are they're starting to get a life of their own. 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. We were close to 4 hours on Friday. And, Chris was here from the Diamond Brush Ruler. I want to show you guys what I'm working on. I really didn't know what it was that I wanted to do. I didn't know if I was going to go out for a walk and take you guys with me, but later on is the Italian festival that my husband wants to go to. That kind of stimulus is just too much for me. It's very crowded. I mean, it is the Italian market. It is a very famous part of this. Just not like what we remember, what we grew up with. Going to a festival like this, we run into all our friends. It was good to see everybody. And now it's just it's a whole new generation. It's a whole new scene, man. It's a whole new scene. There was one particular reading that I read during the week, and I actually did a walking meditation, and I thought I was having clips of scenery and stuff. I might use them in this. This is another really gorgeous part of Philadelphia that we live a few blocks away from. It's the Stephen Girard area. I had John with me, but thankfully he was busy with his phone because it was called To Speak and Embrace, and it was from May 11th. And the meditation was that while holding a stone, invite the presence of everything that is larger than you. And I sat in my room and did this initially, and I was in this room doing this reading and this meditation for about 45 minutes. And so I went into my cabinet where I have a lot of my gemstones that I have collected through the years, and I was like, okay, and the way that I've always chosen my gemstones is not that I go and I, say I want to buy this or that. This, I believe, I found on the beach, and as soon as I held it, I picked it up with my left hand. I had immediately turned it to my right hand. I'm very sensitive to not just sound, and even though I'm sensitive to light, I'm really loving this effect of the sun being in my eyes and on my face. I'm also artsy, and so I was holding the stone, but I grabbed another one too, which was opalite, and that's just a man-made, not just but it's a man-made stone. It's made up of glass, maybe some metal, maybe some sand, and it's good for communication. But I'm holding this in my hand, and I'm like, is this acting like a generator? Is it being generated from this stone? Has it been charged with my other stones? Because some of your gemstones will charge other gemstones. And I am looking, and as I'm holding this while I'm doing this meditation, let me just read this to you, because you're gonna just be like, what? I'm gonna read. See, we go from one thing to another, but that's where my brain goes. It's called To Speak and Embrace. The dream is awakened when thinking I love you, and life begins when saying I love you, and joy moves like blood when embracing someone with love. Love is all you need. So that must have been a quote from Mark Nepo because he doesn't have an author next to it. Usually he does that. So life sometimes begins in the head. The full body of joy cannot be known there. It's just like one sentence, and it's like, it's such a gift to be able to put words together and get the full expression of what it is that you want to say in like maybe 10 words, and not have to go on and on and on, because I always feel as though when I want to get my point across, I go on and on and on. Okay. We all have experienced this difference. Simply recall the first time in adolescence that some other stirred you. The first time the presence of another moved you from being the center of the universe. Recall the strange but moving sense swimming in your head, leaving you unable to extinguish his or her face from your mind. Like a flicker given air, recall how the real and troubled life of flame began as soon as a word was spoken. It is the same with how we dream or love ourselves or struggle with our belief in God, kept swimming in the head by flickers, never setting us aflame. It has taken a lifetime to learn this. As the fire of music awakens the soul of a composer, love sounds within us where no one else can hear. And just as composers must wrestle out the language by which their songs can be played, we must struggle to pronounce our love. All to have our arms rise like flames off the page. It is a difficult challenge to speak and embrace in a world that is so thoroughly trains the mind. That trouble intensifies if not given air. As we live out our days, the imperceptible breath between thinking and saying and embracing can often seem like a canyon, impossible to cross. Oh gosh, this is why we have invoked the myth of Cupid for centuries, to remind us of that fluttering presence that somehow pierces our confinement of thinking, forcing us to speak and embrace. We each carry the bow within us, and while the arrow hurts, our casing of thought is broken, forcing us to tremble. Yes, it is true, I confess. I have thought great thoughts and sung great songs, all of it a rehearsal for the majesty of being held. So the meditation is to meditate while holding a stone, and I told you how I went out to my cabinet and I went and got a stone, and I went and got another gem, and I'm very sensitive to gemstones and their energy, and I was finding it really difficult to hold this particular one in my left hand. And so breathe slowly and let this presence shape your thoughts. While you're holding the stone, I sat here and I meditated on everything bigger than myself. I invited in to my space while I was holding this particular stone, and I kept feeling it with my hands, and I'm like, this feels like it belonged to something that was alive. It feels like a disc in the spine. I'm trying to remember where did I get this? I'm like, oh no, I found this on the beach. I found this on the beach. And where was I? Was I in Cape May? Was I in Atlantic Beach? And I'm just feeling the ripples on. Now, there's something else that you should know about me. I'm going to show you what this is first. So let me show you what this is first. Come down close. This is what it is. This is what I found on the beach. And I have to tell you, and no one has yet said, I know exactly what you are talking about. There are certain formations that when I look at them, and when they are like in a formation, they're kind of sort of perfect, that they kind of cause me anxiety if it's like not this shape, okay? Because they're all kind of, this is a pattern. It's more like things that happen naturally, and it's never really like sharp edges or squares. It's more like circles or wavy lines that really, when I look at them, and I guess because they're formed by nature and I don't know what it is, but I was holding this And I went through my entire meditation. So I'm showing you what it is. I'm showing you, like, my hand is running through here. And I know that I picked this up off the beach because all I wanted to do when I picked this up was scrape all these little things off, because it not only causes me anxiety, it's just like, oh, like, it's just like, I don't know. It's not that it's too perfect. I don't know what it is. But anyway. And so I was having a very strong vibration in my throat. My heart felt heavy. My throat felt like it was just tingling. And I don't have my particular journal that I was using that day, and I'd really like to refer back to it. For some reason, I must have just picked this book up, and I think I may have been sketching first, and then I went into this writing, and I knew that there were a couple of things that in reading it back from the book, this is not making any sense to me. So this is very much a stream of writing that whatever was coming up for me, I'm going to try and read my hands that I'm holding, but it's extremely powerful. I almost cannot catch my breath. Well, I do remember that. And to keep this stone with me. Touch it when you forget. And come back to this moment. My heart and throat are vibrating. I can't read my handwriting. It's just like a bunch of, like, I was probably trying to capture what it was I was hearing, like what was coming through me, and your words not. Okay. I can't read my handwriting. Again, I'm talking about a vibration in my throat. I kept hearing, I am here, I am here, I am here. Oh, I don't remember this, but I actually did press this into the space in between my eyebrows. God's eye. The vibration in my throat got even stronger. And then I heard, are you ready to accept this message? Because you have free will and volition, and you could always say no. And I said yes. And that I would be protected, because this voice was telling me, I know you're frightened, but I have called you not to frighten or scare you. Oh gosh, I'm gonna start crying now, because you invite the presence of everything bigger than you are, whatever that is to you. You breathe slowly and you let this presence shape your thoughts. And so that's what it was, because I was saying not my words, yours. Like, I wanted to hear, I didn't, there are times that when you're sitting in meditation, you go through that part where you're kind of like, you're trying to make sense of what it is that's coming to you. And so you start to tell yourself a story. So I didn't want to tell myself a story. I wanted whatever it was to speak to me. And I know what it was. So I'm not trying to name it for you. But breathe deeply and let this presence, now wrapped in thought, vibrate in your throat. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's all I've been doing is talking about that this is vibrating in my throat. With one word, name this presence and pronounce it out loud. Practice embodiment by feeling the presence of the universe in both you and the stone as you think and pronounce and touch all at once. And the word that came to me was Father. So, yeah, this was a really powerful meditation, and it's not. It's not. I knew that I wanted to get it to you guys on that day that I did it, but now that I am talking about it, and I did do part of it, and I'll probably put that meditation in. From when I was in the park and I was talking, and so when I went back and reviewed this 45-minute meditation that I did, it's pretty much me telling you exactly what I have already told you, but some of the pictures, some of the things that I caught were just so pretty. I love chalk art. I always capture it wherever I see it. I should dedicate a page to it. So pretty, this park. And it was very strong and a very powerful meditation. And they're not all like that, but there have been some meditations in here where I can't. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to. I just don't want to. You know. And then I tell my little bratty self to sit the hell down. You know, because now the adult has to come into the room. That's the inner child. But I think that those are the things that are hidden really deep that you want to. They come out in some way. So last night I was I'm not channel surfing. I was channel surfing YouTube, and I don't know, my colored pencils were out, and we were talking about, you know, me and Chris were talking about coloring and stuff during our Friday Night Live. You know, I'm not a coloring book person, even though I have The Secret Garden. So I landed on, I don't even know who it was. I will link it because I watched it last night, and she said, what is it with all these adults coloring? And this is a recent video. So she's like, what is it with all these adults coloring? And I need to know what this is about. So she ordered herself a coloring book. I think it was an architectural one, and a box of colored pencils. And she was getting frustrated. But all this stuff was coming up for her. She, like, after, like, I think one day she didn't do much. The second day she was like, I'm not doing crayons. I have to stop. I have to keep sharpening. I don't like it. She was getting frustrated, and someone called her, and she said, no, I'm not going back to it. And they were like, well, let me see it. And she held it up on her, she was FaceTiming someone, and they said, would really be a waste not to finish that, wouldn't it? And so she came back with a new perspective, and she started to realize why she was running from coloring. I know that we have our time with diamond painting, and sometimes we get frustrated, and I'm ready to pull every tool out that I have so that I can enjoy my experience. It's kind of like, you know, the pen, you know, the pencil, you know, you can buy really dry pencils that really don't have the creaminess to them and be frustrated by coloring and think, oh, coloring's not for me. But you have to go out and you have to test these mediums. And, you know, for me, it's been this. I'm going to show you my diamond painting. I'm going to show you the Moon Eater. And I'm just like, I put this down yesterday in the morning. I opened up a new spot. I'm done. I had to look to make sure that I was done. I'm done that spot. And like, this is like 2 10x10s that I'm doing simultaneously. And someone had said, she's like, oh, she's like, I'm not trying to be snotty or anything. I just don't see the point. Okay. She's like, you pull it off and then you have to go back to the drills that you had out already. But my concentration is in one column at a time. And I'm not missing drills. So it's like I go down this column, then I go down this column, then I go down this column, and then if I don't want to go any further, I just stop. And then when I take it off, it's so much fun to like click them all in. So what is this stone? It was vibrating. It was, I can hold it now in my left hand, probably because I did my work. I looked it up a billion times. I couldn't wait for John to come on my screen. Do me a favor, can you Google search this? And he's like, let me see that again after he did it. He's like, oh my God, this is a fragment of a mammoth tooth. Where did you get it? And I'm like, that's what I thought. I looked it up a billion times. I couldn't even believe it. He said, it's a fragment of a mammoth tooth. So I did find this on the beach, even though I am unaware of what beach I found it on. But it was just like me. I picked it up. I was like, oh, I don't like those. I'm gonna scrape these all off later. That's the feeling that I get. I just want to scrape them all off. And that's what it is. And I brought it home and I put it with my gemstones, and I just forgot about it. And I don't even know how long it's been in there. I don't know how long it's been in there, but that's what it is. It might be on the cover of my thumbnail today. And when I was holding it, this is what I was rubbing up against, and you could see where it's like almost like, you see how it's almost like a tooth. Yeah, and I was holding it with the opalite. I don't know where the opalite got to. So, all right, so that was the reading from during the week. What about today's reading, Elisa? Today's reading is very, very short, and it's more for you to just appreciate. It's a gratitude reading. And when I opened this up and I saw friendship, John and I had this talk the next day after the live, and he said, so how did it go? You know, because he popped in just for a short time. And I was like, John, you know, I was like, I've been doing this for about 2 years, and I will tell you that some, like maybe a dozen of the people in my life know me better than people that have known me for years. And he's like, well, you know, Elisa, he said, you know, you talk about these people like you grew up with them. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I do. I was just sitting with Kelty last night. She sent me a friend request on Facebook. And when I went on her page, I was like, hey, girl, hey, girlfriend. And she popped up, and we got to chatting. And we may have chatted for like an hour. I was diamond painting. She was diamond painting with her precious little doggy who sits on her lap. And, you know, this is like I'm talking to a friend that I've known for years. So I'm going to share this with you guys, and then I'm going to say, toodles. Friendship. Nothing among human beings has such power to keep our gaze fixed ever more intensely upon God than friendship. Simone Weil, right? Such a hard time with names. I have been blessed to have deep friends in my time on earth. They have been an oasis when my life has turned to desert. They have been a cool river to plunge in when my heart has been on fire. When I was ill, one toweled my head when I couldn't stand without bleeding. Another bowed at my door saying, I will be whatever you need as long as you need it. Still others have ensured my freedom, and they missed me while I searched for bits of truth that only led me back to them. I have slept in the high, lonely wind waiting for God's word, and while it's true, no one can live for you. Singing from the peak isn't quite the same as whispering in the center of the circle that has carried you ashore. Honest friends are doorways to our souls, and loving friends are the guests that soften the world. It is no mistake that the German root of the word friendship means place of safety. This safety opens us to God. As Cicero said, a friend is a second self. And as St. Martin said, my friends are the beings through whom God loves me. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful sentence is that. A beautiful thought. My friends are the beings through whom God loves me. There can be no greater or simpler ambition than to be a friend. And so the exercise is to center yourself and open your heart to the unnameable place of high safety. After a time, look around in your heart and see who is there. Breathe gently and give thanks for the true friends you have. But look how much of her is done. And I started this a couple days ago. So I was thinking, you know, I'm trying to, here I cut the canvas, and so here I just stayed within the perforation, and I was wondering, like, do I want to do this section next, and it's going to leave this kind of extra on this side. See, there's extra on this side. Or do I want to go this way? Because I can. This will still be covered, but I would have to cut here. Or do I want to continue going this way? Here. I'm not sure how I want to proceed, or I might just go right up here. If I go right up here, let's see. Let's move everything over here. If I go this way, I'm going to hit the perforation line. So I might go this way. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go this way next. I'm going to keep working my way north to south. And, you know, I'll probably have this done tonight. And, you know, John's going out. And so, yippee for me. Yippee for me. He's going out. He doesn't know he's going alone yet. I don't know that I'm going to that. It's just like I said, it's just too much for me. Yeah, I think I want to get the fingers in. So that's where I'm going next with that. But for right now, I have to send a package out. And so I got some watercolors from, these are actually from Temu. And I went and got my, aren't they gorgeous? I'm going to do a little exercise I haven't done. I used to actually teach this class too when I was with the ink pad. And if you have like trays that you like to carry stuff in, I've never tried these before. These are a color series inspired from the murals in China. Warm, earthy tones, yellow, greens, mystery, opulence of the murals. So I am going to use that. It would be great to do a cat, but I think for my cousin's gift box, I'm going to put this one in, and I might just film this, and then if you guys are interested, maybe I'll put it on Awaken with Elisa. That made a way to do it. You can see, you know, how I go about doing this, where I can do one page, and I got this in the dollar store. Chopped watercolor paper. I think I showed you guys this when I bought it. It is thick watercolor paper, and I have also, take my little grateful right here, take my little cup of water right here. I have a little one of these pads that I get from Temu. They're face pads, but I'm going to be using that for ink. And I have a water pen. And the water pens are fabulous. So that's what I'm going to be working on. When I say goodbye to you guys, I will show you how I do it, and I'll put it, you know, in my member section, and I'll put it on Awaken with Elisa, and we'll see how it goes, you know, and maybe I'll just incorporate it in today's self-care Sunday. You know how it goes. You don't want to screw around with the algorithm that much. So thanks for joining me. I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to go get myself another dose. I love it so much. And I will see my members tomorrow. I'm going to do the unboxing of the Mermaid Princess for you guys. And then on Tip Tuesday, I have a dollar store hack that is going to make your kit up stress-free. I'm not kidding. I'm loving it. Bye.